99% of people who buy a car think they are saving money, but in reality, they are locking themselves into a spending loop that can last for decades without even realizing it. The same car, the same income level, two people make two different decisions, and 10 years later, one has almost nothing left, while the other has built assets. The difference is not the car, but how they understand, or fail to understand, the numbers behind their decision. Imagine two people walking into the same showroom on the same day. They have the same salary, the same goals, and both choose a sedan priced at around $30,000. There is no difference except for the signature they place on the contract. One chooses to lease the car with a lower monthly payment, around $299. The other chooses to buy, accepting a higher payment, around over $500 per month. From that very moment, the feeling is already different. The person leasing the car walks out feeling like they just took a shortcut, less money. A newer car, no need to worry about repairs. The person buying the car immediately feels the financial pressure, paying more each month while the value of the car is declining over time. If you were standing outside looking in, who would you think is winning? Almost everyone would choose the person leasing the car, and that is exactly the trap. What matters is not the amount you pay each month, but the structure of that payment. When you buy a car, every dollar you pay is gradually converting into ownership slowly. But surely, when you lease a car, every dollar you pay is simply a cost for temporary use. These two cash flows look similar in the short term, but their nature is completely different. One is building value. The other is consuming value. And this difference is invisible in the first month, but it amplifies over time. This is the point most people miss. Because our brains tend to evaluate things based on immediate comfort, a lower payment always feels safe. Even though its real cost lies in the future, in the first 3 years, the person leasing the car almost lives in a state of total victory. They pay less each month. Do not worry about repairs, because the car is under warranty. Have no unexpected expenses, and always feel they made a rational choice. If you place the numbers side by side after 36 months, the difference is very clear. The person leasing has spent nearly $10,000 less than the buyer. And it is exactly at this moment that the story becomes dangerous. Because all the evidence seems to support the leasing decision, but this is not the complete truth. Only a part of the picture. What you are seeing is short-term cost, while what truly matters is the long-term consequence. According to research in behavioral finance, people often fall into present bias, the tendency to value immediate benefits more and underestimate future costs. And leasing exploits this weakness perfectly. By the 3rd year, the lease contract ends. And at this point, the person leasing the car faces 3 choices: buy the car, return it, and walk away, or continue leasing a new one. In theory, they have options, but in reality, most will choose to keep leasing. Why? Because they have become used to the low monthly payment, used to the feeling of driving a new car, and do not want to step backward by buying an older car or increasing their expenses. And so the cycle begins again: a new contract, a new down payment, another 36 months, Meanwhile, the person who bought the car continues their journey, moving 1 month at a time closer to fully owning it. This is a structural difference. One is running on a conveyor belt with no stopping point, while the other is walking on a road with a clear destination. And the dangerous part is that this loop does not hurt immediately. It quietly stretches over time, turning monthly payments into a normal habit. After 6 years, the picture begins to change. The person leasing has completed 2 lease cycles, spent a significant amount of money, but owns no asset. In contrast, the person who bought the car, although they paid more in the early stage, is now close to or has completely finished the loan, and more importantly, they hold a car that still has value. This is the moment when the advantage begins to reverse, not because the buyer made money, but because they have stopped paying from this point on. Every month that passes strengthens their position, while the person leasing continues to maintain the same level of spending as before. This is one of the most important principles in personal finance. It is not about how much you earn, but how long you can stop paying for something. The problem with leasing is not the number $299 per month, but everything that does not appear in that number. When you sign the contract, you are not just agreeing to pay. You are accepting a list of attached conditions. Annual mileage limits sound reasonable, until you realize that just driving a little more will result in charges for every extra mile. And these fees do not appear monthly. They accumulate and show up at the end of the contract, like an unexpected bill you did not prepare for. Then comes wear and tear, a small scratch, a mark on the wheel, a stain on the seat. Things you consider normal are assigned a monetary value. And importantly, the definition of normal is not decided by you. Finally, there is the return fee. You even have to pay just to return something you never owned. These costs do not hurt immediately, but they ensure that you never truly escape the cost of using that car. But if we only talk about the disadvantages of leasing, it would not be fair. Buying a car also has its price, and it is not pleasant. After the warranty expires, all risks belong to you. Unexpected repair costs, part replacements, expenses you cannot predict, all of them can happen. And more importantly, the car you buy is losing value every single day. This is a reality. No one likes to face the asset you spend money on, does not appreciate, but instead depreciates fastest in the early years. But there is one thing few people notice. This rate of depreciation does not continue forever. After the first few years, the depreciation curve slows down significantly. That means the longer you keep the car, the more you reduce the impact of depreciation. This is where time becomes an advantage. In finance, there are assets that generate money, and there are decisions that help you stop losing money. And owning a fully paid off car belongs to the second category. When you extend the story to 10 years, everything becomes undeniably clear. The person leasing the car has gone through multiple contract cycles, continuously paying, continuously switching cars, but has accumulated no value. The total amount they have spent may reach tens of thousands of dollars, but in return, they only get experience, not assets. Meanwhile, the person who bought the car, after finishing the loan, enters a phase of no more payments. Their cost drops significantly. And the car, even though it is older, still holds usage value and resale value. When you place the two pictures side by side, the difference is no longer about feeling, but about numbers. One side pays continuously to maintain a state, the other pays to end an obligation, and in the long term, the difference between maintaining and ending is the difference between consumption and accumulation. There are cases where leasing can make sense, for example, when you have tax advantages in business, or when you use vehicles with extremely high maintenance costs, but those are special cases. Not the reality for most people. Another common argument is if you lease a car and invest the money you save, you can come out ahead financially. This is true, but only in theory, because it requires something most people do not have: discipline. Research on consumer behavior shows that most of the money saved from lower monthly costs is not invested. It is spent. And when that happens, the assumed advantage of leasing disappears completely. In personal finance, strategy is not what determines the outcome. Behavior is what determines it. The biggest mistake is not choosing to lease or buy. The biggest mistake is making a decision worth tens of thousands of dollars based on a monthly number without ever asking, what is the real total cost? The number $299 is not the price of the car. It is just a way to keep you from seeing the real price. And when you do not see the full picture, you are not truly making a decision. You are simply reacting to a number designed to make you feel comfortable. The next time a pleasant number is placed in front of you, do not ask whether you can afford it each month. Ask a different question. The question almost no one asks in the end: how much will this decision cost me?